Danica Patrick's post-racing. Danica Patrick is one of the most sassy and tough female athletes in the United States. Not only is she one of the best female race car drivers, but she's also one of the most amazing women in recent sports history. With wins in the Indy and NASCAR series and the Rookie of the Year award, Danica Patrick has shown us all that if you do what you love with all your heart, you can reach great heights, no matter what gender you are. At the start of her career, Patrick was known as one of the fastest racers on the track. When she was in her early 30s, she retired with honor. What's she been doing since she stopped working in 2018? Let's take a look into the exciting life of professional race car driver Danica Patrick, from her very public relationship to the start of her podcast series. Born and raised in the Midwest. She was born on March 25, 1982, in the small Wisconsin town of Beloit, but she grew up in Roscoe, Illinois, which is even smaller. To her surprise, becoming a race car driver was never one of her goals. As a kid, she had many different goals, such as becoming a loving doctor, a passionate artist, or a hardworking secretary. So how did she become one of the best female drivers in the world and change the industry forever? Well, it all began when she was about to become a teenager. A family bonding activity. Terry Joseph, T.J. Patrick Jr., and Beverly Ann Nee Flatten had two children, Danica Patrick and Brooke, who's younger. That was in the early 1990s. Their caring parents were trying to think of a fun activity that all four of them could do together. In the beginning, their parents were considering getting a boat. The brave girls had other ideas. When Brooke rode a friend's go-kart, she was dying to try one for herself, and soon Danica felt the same way. Falling faster than driving for the finish line. Go-karts were bought for Danica, 10, and her sister Brooke, 8, when they were younger. That's cool. After that, Danica became very interested in racing faster than she could reach the finish line. And as the years went by, her love and drive turned into a desire to start fighting. So she got better at everything over time, especially with coordinating her eyes and feet. Being able to compete all year made her want to move to California when she was 13. But that was only the start. Not just a driver. Danica did a few other things when she wasn't racing. It shouldn't be a surprise that she was interested in other things as an adult, since she had such a wide range of dreams as a child. One of them is cheerleading for her high school teams. In her free time, she also babysat. It didn't matter if she wasn't competing all year, she just couldn't take her mind off the tracks. Danica's parents were still with her while she pursued her dreams, even though they didn't move to California. Winning regional and national competitions. Danica had won a lot of go-kart titles in regional and national races by the time she was 16. But Danica, who was brave, wanted more than that. There was a teen rival who felt like it was time to step things up when she finally turned 18. She'd been racing go-karts for 6 years, and now she wanted to try her luck at road racing, which would be a big change. Breaking records. Patrick won second place at the Formula Ford Festival in 2000, a British race for single-seat racing cars driven by Ford engines. This was after she quit high school to participate professionally in Europe. British driver Anthony Dennis Davidson beat her by less than half a second. Not only that, but her finish was thought to be the best ever finish for an American at the time. Just think about how happy she must have been. In just a couple of years, her success would go through the roof. Starting with a crash. The skilled and much-wanted driver had a big year coming up, but it wasn't all good. Patrick's professional racing career didn't get off to the best of starts. She was getting ready for the 2005 Toyota Indy 300 at the Homestead Miami Speedway, which was the first race of the season and her very first IndyCar Series race. However, things got out of hand during the race and several cars were involved in an accident. Getting sent straight to the wall. Racing is very dangerous because you have to drive a big machine at very high speeds on a very small road with other very fast cars just inches away. Wow, that was powerful. There was a lot of danger in the 2005 Indy 300 Homestead race when one of the other cars started to lose control and go all over the track. The car was going down the track because its suspension was broken, Patrick told NTT IndyCar Series. As I was going down the track, it just clipped my right rear and sent me straight up into the wall. It was a huge hit. Patrick did know about the risks when she chose to play this dangerous sport. She was so happy to have made it to the Indy races, though, that she didn't think her first race would end with her in the hospital. Patrick said in an interview with NTT IndyCar Series, "I don't remember anything from when I hit the wall to when I woke up in the medical center. It was a huge hit. She ended up in the hospital with a slight headache, but she seemed to get over it quickly." Rookie of the Year. All Danica Patrick could think about was doing what she loved when she got in her race car and stepped on the gas. Danica Patrick came in 4th place out of 33 very skilled professional drivers on that Indy 500 road. Not only did she finish in the top 10, but she also led for 19 laps of the race, which is amazing for a beginner like her. That being said, getting praise for being a great starter was only the beginning. Becoming a role model in female sports. Danica Patrick won Rookie of the Year in 2005 and was named the most popular driver in the Indy Racing League, IRL, for 3 years in a row. She was a big star in the sports world, though, because she was the first woman to be in the lead during a classic race and finish in 4th place. Danica Patrick didn't have a figure she looked up to, but she quickly became one for female sports in the middle of the 2000s. First female to win a major league race. Races were something that the eager female athlete loved so much and was very enthusiastic about. Over the next few years, she made a name for herself and worked hard to become the best driver she could be. And in 2008, at the 2008 Twin Ring Motegi Indy 300 race in Japan, she won her first race. All her hard work and dedication had paid off. Besides that, she was the first woman to win a first place in a big league open-wheel racing race, which was another record she broke. Top search in 2000. Just think about how thrilled she must have been. At age 23, Patrick was named Rookie of the Year, was one of the most well-known drivers, and set new records for women in sports. And by the time she was 26, she'd set an amazing record for women in sports. What a crazy idea! What they did was great, but it didn't end there. She was #1 on AOL's annual list of top web, mobile, and video searches. That same year, beating out Tiger Woods for 2nd place and Tom Brady for 3rd. Patrick was a big deal all over the world, both for her acting skills and her modeling skills. From patient to girlfriend. In the middle of the 2000s, Danica did more than just work on her job. She met her future husband, Paul Edward Hospenthal, in 2002 before she got her big break. She got help from Hospenthal, a stylish physical therapist who worked with famous players, for an injury when they met. They went from being therapist and patient to dating over time. But it seemed like they knew how to follow the doctor-patient security code the whole time because they kept their relationship pretty quiet from other people. Bride-to-be. Do you remember how we said that 2005 was a very up and down year for Danica? Also, Danica won Bride-to-be along with Rookie of the Year and Most Popular Driver this year. Sure enough, she married Hospenthal in 2005, 3 years after they met for the first time. It was clear that Paul was important to her, even though they seemed to keep their relationship out of the public eye and the press, which was polite since Patrick was already a famous person by the time they got married. Learning a lot from her life partner. Paul, Danica's husband, worked with famous athletes, so he knew how serious the press and public can be about personal lives. There's no question that Hospenthal and Patrick had a very special and strong bond. They may have kept their private life a secret. To cheer her on, her husband was right there with her when she was on the road for her tests. Besides that, he taught her a lot about money, like how to manage her present income and save for retirement. It's just that he's smart. He taught me how to take care of things, she told Today in February 2012. A mutually sad decision. It doesn't matter how great two people are together, that doesn't always mean that their relationship will last and work out. Sadly, they chose to split up at the end of 2012. In a post on Facebook, Danica told her friends, "I'm sorry to say that after 7 years of marriage, Paul and I have decided to end it amicably. This isn't easy for either of us, but we both agree that it's time. He's been a friend, an important person in my life, and that will not change. Another up and down year. Like 2005, 2013 had its ups and downs. On the one hand, she had divorced her husband of more than 10 years, which is never easy. But on the other, she started dating another famous driver, the hot Stenhouse Jr. They were together for 5 years, but their relationship ended. Breaking the glass ceiling time and time again. 2013 was also an amazing year for Danica because she broke records in the world-famous NASCAR Cup Series. Not only did she set the fastest time in qualifying for the Daytona 500 race, but she also finished in the top 10. Her 8th place finish earned her another title as the first woman to finish that high in the Great American Race. This big break in NASCAR competitions broke even more pieces in the glass ceiling for competitive women. Making a huge impact. Over the next few years, Patrick kept making headlines, winning more titles, and setting more records. This was a big deal because she was the first fierce femme to be this successful in NASCAR. She also made a big impact in the industry as a whole, which is dominated by men. And her amazing success could make more women feel more comfortable entering the world of motor racing. A message for people. That she was inspiring young girls and other female athletes meant a lot to her. But Patrick wasn't just trying to inspire women. I don't have a message for women. I have a message for people as humans. We shouldn't be pigeonholed into a one-dimensional thing. I thought my strongest message was just to go do what you love and be yourself, she told the LA Times in 2020. Always been focused on the track. There was a lot of talk about Patrick and Stenhouse's relationship, even though they were both professional drivers. In 2013, Patrick told Fox News, "I don't normally say too much about my private life. Always been focused on the track. I didn't want to confirm at Media Day so that we could keep the focus on the reasons, my Gen 6, car, my sponsors, and the team. That's what it's all about for me." The two seemed hot together, and she admitted it's all about she was thinking about stopping other things. New love. It just so happens that Danica's best moments in her work are also associated with her love life. Soon after her painful breakup with Stenhouse, Danica fell in love with someone else. Within a few months, the fierce woman fell in love with another player. This time it was for football, a sport she loved as a child. Even though they met in 2012, Danica Patrick and Aaron Rodgers, quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, began a public relationship in February 2018. Cheering for the Packers. Even though Danica was born and raised in Illinois, she was more than happy to cheer for her boyfriend's team, the Green Bay Packers, even though she grew up in Illinois. I told Rodgers a long time ago I'd always root for him as a player. Now I'm probably going to cheer for the whole team. Take out the word probably, now I'm going to cheer for the whole team, Danica told the Associated Press. In addition to what we already said, Danica's work high points seem to happen around the same time as her personal and love life. This means a big event was about to happen. The red carpet that had everyone talking. In 2018, Danica Patrick hosted the ESPY Awards. Her act got mixed reviews, with some saying her comedic timing was off. However, her red carpet look got nothing but praise. Danica showed how stylish she was by putting on a beautiful Saint Laurent short dress. Not only that, but her cutout Francesco Russo shoes made everyone talk. At that event, she and Aaron Rodgers also walked the red carpet for the first time. Queen of Speed takes a step down from the throne. Danica understood she was ready for the next step in her life in 2018. It had been 13 years of industry-shattering and adrenaline-pumping years. It was no longer in my heart. What I loved most about racing was that you could get better, place better, and finally win. I felt like I had less and less control over that, Patrick told Nightline in 2019. She even said in an interview that she doesn't really miss racing now that she's retired. Before the Queen of Speed stepped down from her seat to start a new journey, there was one more roof that needed to be broken. Danica Double. That same year, the sneaky and stylish driver said she was retiring, but she also said she was going to run in 2 more events that year. People started calling these 2 races the Danica Double because they were her 2 favorite races. the Daytona 500, and the Indy 500. But Danica had to leave with a bang, so she did one more amazing event that shook the business. She was chosen to be the first woman to host the ESPYs, which are ABC's live ESPN Sports Award show. That's so cool! Pretty intense dreams and warriors. After her amazing stint as a race car driver, what has Danica Patrick been doing? She's always been a very good marketer and trader, even when she was a professional driver. From her wine brand called Somnium, to her clothesline called Warrior, to writing and releasing her book and starting her podcast show called Pretty Intense, she's done a lot. Is there anything she can't do? A cool chance came up for her in 2019 that she just couldn't pass up. A historical day. In May 2021, Danica was back on the Indy 500 track. It was a historic moment for both her and the race. Why is that? Because of the COVID-19 outbreak, that was the first race in history where there were no guests or fans. So even though the plague stopped a lot of sports events around the world, or at least made it impossible to watch sports, 2021 was an important year for many reasons. The day before yesterday was better than usual. How many days like that have we had in the last 14 months? Patrick wrote on Instagram. An itch to explore. Racing race cars isn't the only thing Danica Patrick's been interested in 2021. Patrick had a lot of big events happen in her life during the pandemic and lockdown. She focused on living a healthy life and selling her goods. She also went through a hard breakup, of course, had to follow the same rules everyone else did during lockdown. It's not a surprise that the driven and inspired role model wanted to try new things. Did she make that dream come true, though? Running wild with Bear Grylls. There's a good chance you know Bear Grylls as the man who knows everything there is to know about being outside and all the scary things that can happen. In 2021, guess who got to be on one of his shows? I did a lot of things that scare me the most. It's funny, but progress is right on the other side of fear. I learned from you that the most important thing is to do the scary thing right now. Patrick talked about her time on Running Wild with Bear Grylls on Instagram. But that wasn't the only big step forward she made while she was on the show. Grow a broken heart. Patrick is without question one of the most outstanding female players who girls look up to. But she doesn't just motivate women, she also loves getting people to think about their strengths and flaws. She does this by going after her dreams and facing her fears. Along with getting over her fears, she had another big moment when she was on the show Running Wild with Bear Grylls. According to Patrick, there's nothing like heartbreak to throw you in the deep end of learning about yourself. She also said, "I've learned a lot, and as broken open as I was on the sad end, I have felt so much joy in so many more instances and so many more unlikely places than I ever have," making it sound like her heart was broken open on both ends. New people, places, and things. We all reach different stages of life at different ages. Danica Patrick is living proof of that. She's always getting better as a person, whether it's through trying new things or dealing with personal issues. Patrick's been doing more than just going to new places and trying new things lately. She's also been seeing a new boyfriend behind her back. Patrick and her boyfriend, Carter Comstock, who helped start chef-prepared Freshly Meals, got married in the spring of 2021. Even though things are still new, the two seem to be very happy.